Hello, and welcome to another episode of the weekly Winedown.
And this week, it's all about showing up out of love. Cheers.
Cheers.
So,
And cheers to you.
with
Today,
showing up out of love,
Well,
we are going to talk about how much
our
we
love
love.
love of wine. All
Yeah.
right. So today we are drinking a Lindman's Cabernet Sauvignon. It is quite a juicy cab, quite a bold, heavy cab, and we're quite enjoying it.
Where's it from?
Australia.
It's an Australian version that is big, bold, and berry filled
Yep.
with a big, heavy cab feel to it.
Take a big gulp there and let everybody know just how bold it is. That was not a gulp.
All right. Now, showing up out of love. I want you to start this one off because that is something I often hear from you.
I say to you all the time. Yes.
And
so this is
a good thing for people to listen to in terms of when you're frustrated, when you're showing up in ways in which you wouldn't want to in your relationships, at work, just in terms of communication in general.
So am I starting this one off?
Oh, for sure you are.
All right. So this is something I say to Justin quite often, and it's actually something that I came to appreciate by reading. I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with it. It's called The Power of Now. And there's a chapter in there that talks about the power of now in relationships. And there's a piece of it that refers to how when you're in a relationship, the opposite of love is not hate. There is no opposite of love. So if you're feeling frustrated or taking something out on your partner, or even if it's whether you're upset with them or upset with something, oftentimes if you show up in a frustrated or what I like to call catabolic way, then oftentimes you're not showing up out of love for that person, because in fact you're showing up out of hate. And as I mentioned earlier, the opposite of love is not hate. There is no opposite. So when Justin is frustrated with me or frustrated with something or vice versa, I say to him, honey, can you please show up out of love today? It's something that is very, very important for us to really make sure that we're present, we're aware, and that we are really putting each other first in the right way.
Completely. And I think the big thing when you're creating this or putting this strategy into place in your life, it's about communicating it to your better half, about what that looks like, and truly knowing what showing up out of love is. And we all know that passage from the Bible was love is patient, love is kind, love doesn't judge. Those are all things that we know, but it's about putting into practice, and it's about being able to just articulate it through the one word. And as Elise has now made it clear to me as to what showing up out of love looks like, from the patience I have, the way that I speak to her, the attention that I give her, the time that I give her, the way in which we utilize conflict resolution. Sorry. That becomes so important, is being able to truly have that understanding for one another. So it just becomes a simple, honey, can you show up out of love? And it triggers the awareness of what that truly means.
And the other thing that we want to make clear is that it's not just by saying, can you show up out of love? It doesn't mean that it changes overnight. It absolutely takes practice to be able to show up and react differently than how you normally would. But what we love about this, when we say, please show up out of love, at least it creates a moment of pause to allow space for that awareness and to choose a different reaction than where you may be going naturally because you're used to. And it allows you to think of the other person and say, you know what, I'm really not showing up in the way that I want to for my partner. And it allows you to take that time to choose something different, choose a different reaction.
And in that time that Elise talked about there, that pause, that moment is where growth happens. That moment is where transformation happens. So we have to allow ourselves that time and that pause. So something to take away, and an action step that we'd like you guys to take off of this one, is to take time right now. Take time and write down for yourself, what does showing up out of love look like for you? What does it look like from your partner? So I would write down what showing up out of love would look like from Elise, and Elise would write down what showing up out of love would look like from me. Spend time, write it down, be detailed, be oriented, have key words down there, actual tangible things.
And then most importantly, talk about it. Have a conversation with your partner about it, because that's where you can really level set expectations and make sure that you're on the same page.
Absolutely. So with that, cheers to you. Cheers to love.
Cheers to love.
Go
Yep.
own it.
Go own it.